Hello, my name's Tris and this is Double O'Neill, and we are up in my loft looking at my model railway today, and I'll be talking to you about generally all the things that I enjoy to do with it in my journey as we go through all of this. And part of the journey is getting the railway running, and the biggest part of this episode is getting a controller built up, which was kindly provided to me by my dad. He built two kind of comp speed controllers, controls, and basically that allows more power to be delivered when there's, let's say, a high resistance. So when the train gets really far away to the other end of the line, sometimes with the Hornby controller that I use, it gets weak. I have to turn a bit more power up, and then it kind of goes very fast. Whereas the comp speed ones kind of look at how much power is kind of required. Basically, it kind of regulates everything. So that's really cool getting that on there, because that means I can have all three lines and the fourth line, which is my 009 line, all under comp speed. So it means that when I get to the awkward areas that normally it would struggle a little bit, it just cracks on absolutely no trouble. Looking at the controller, I've built up a nice box which is from eBay. The parts were laser cut, they went together really nicely, and it meant that I could now put my bits inside. To do that, I needed to cut out a small rectangle to put on a plate, which I made in the garage, and that's just out of a bit of 2mm aluminium, and I put that on my CNC machine because I've used that in my other videos that you may have seen. And it's a case of cutting out the profile, cutting out the holes. Obviously I had to draw this first and figure it out, but it wasn't very difficult. We just had to make sure we had some holes in the corners, as well as the holes for the LEDs, the pot, as well as the switch. And then after that, all I did was I ran a nice chamfer around the outside, and that kind of made it really nice, kind of gave it a good feel and finish, which meant that the box kind of now had that done. The box will look very empty though, for the other section, and that will be for points, I guess, signals or whatever on this side of the railway. I'm going to have kind of one controller this end and have one controller that end. I could have them both this end or whatever, it doesn't matter. So let's pop it into the kitchen. We'll have a little look at the controller, at what stage I'm at, and I'll go through it with you, and then we'll come back up here and we'll give it a run. These are the bits that my father sent over to me. There's a transformer, the capacitor discharge unit for the point motors, as well as the comp speed we'll just put there, another transformer. They're 0 to 15 volts. They'll power like the line as well as the points. So there's two to do each comp speed. And then obviously you can see the two comp speeds with all the wires on. So thanks Dad for sending them over. And then I've got a nice package here with a wooden box from a laser cut kit, which I'm gonna leave a link in the description to where I got this off. I got it through a well-known auction site, sounds like Fleabay, and yeah, so I kind of thought, how does this go together? I couldn't figure it out to begin with. I was failing the IQ test, but we got there in the end. Nope, not there, on the front. And basically we just need to put this together. So after understanding how it clips together, get my my wood glue out. This is my Gorilla Glue. It's pretty good stuff. I like the applicator. I think that's one of my bits that sides me towards anyway. And then just gonna glue it together. I've got some masking tape out, you see there. And all I'm using with the masking tape after gluing it is just to hold it together nicely. It's just kind of a nice easy way to do it, and then you can just peel it off afterwards once you're done. So if I just put the sides on here, you'll see after I've put the sides on, I then get my tape and stick it down, as you can see. It just means that we just leave it, forget about it. I should probably do this when I build my little laser cut buildings and things. So with the tape on, I can then just let that dry. So I'm going to put the front on now. A little bit of glue here. Going to just pop it in all the little areas. It's not like it's going to have to go through the walls, but I don't want it falling apart whilst it's meant to be helping me run my logos around the layout. Last little bit of tape, and as you can see, even if I didn't glue this, it probably hold together quite nicely. And this is just the top part, and these little bits stop it sliding off. Works out quite nicely. I'm not too worried about securing it down any better than this. So on the inside, I've printed this really cool, I quite think it's cool. It's a standoff mount for the comp speeds, and all I need to do is position it over here on the left,
and I'm going to be just marking out the board and drilling the holes through, because the M3 screws are hold on, you see. So I'm just going to use a 2.5mm drill through what would have been there, and now drilling it out with a 3mm drill bit. And that means I can pop the M3 screw through the back. And it's just nice and simple. I didn't really get good shots of this, it's all on the side, but that's now held on. And then I'm going to screw my comp speeds in place. There they are. And I've got my wiring, that's there. So my biggest thing is figuring out where everything's going and working out what to do with having I need like a plate to obviously put the pots on to adjust the speed. And then obviously I've got my power going to the transformers. I've screwed them all in place, that's all working out nicely. So they both do the same thing, they just look differently. I've got to wire this up. But let's work out the plates. I've got one for this pot and the other pots, as well as the switches and the LEDs. So pop into the garage. I've put a bit of plate on the milling machine. It's a little DIY machine that I built about 2 years ago now, and using that to do the magic. And I just kind of pick up the corner that I want to pick up, and I'll just start machining. And I've got like a bit of air pressure blowing on it with that nozzle, and it's got a mixture of like coolant and water. Bits of fine spray on there, but you can see it cuts quite nicely going down. I'm not pushing it hard, I'm just kind of, there's no point pushing it if I've got no time frame on it, so I just kind of go through, cut the bits out, and then have a nice time actually using the tool for a bit longer. I've broken so many tools since getting into machining. I kind of, unless there's a reason to really push through time-wise, then I just leave it as it is. Now I've cut out all those holes, just going to cut the profile out, and I go down at 0.5 steps. It's a 2 flute cutter. If I had a single flute cutter, I'd go down like 1mm steps, but that's a machining thing, and I think some of you probably aren't too interested in it, and maybe you are, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you like the machining side of things. I know some of you do, you've commented on it, but this is the computer screen that I look at. You can see what it's doing, you can see it moving in X at the moment, and then it'll go in Y when it's going up. And that's basically it. The next step is to chamfer all the edges, so we're going to run a nice little 45-degree chamfer around the edges. You can see it instantly appearing there. Basically gets rid of the burr that builds up around it, so that's the little sharp edge that you'll get on the sides. Makes it look nice and just gives it, I know, like kind of a, a professional finish there. And after it's done, the edge on there, I'll just clean up all the holes, just make sure they're all nice, because they're all going to have a little burr on them, and it's always good to clean them up, because the cutter that cuts all the holes wasn't necessarily the sharpest thing. It'll come around, it will just tickle each hole, and you can run around, get rid of it, and you can see that shiny edge that appears when it does it. And for me, as someone likes doing machining, it's very satisfying having a nice clean edge that I don't have to go and hand deburr afterwards. And for example, if you did a production run of these, at least they'd all look the same, all clean up really, really nicely. And afterwards I give it a little clean up with a bit of Scotch-Brite, introduce a few kind of finishing scratches, I like to call them, but they're always so fine, they look very nice. And yeah, give it a clean, and then I'll get it back up onto the box really. So I'll get this out, get the old flick knife out. It's always good fun using that. I only use it to pick these bits off anyway. It's stuck down with double-sided tape effectively, and there we are. I'll just give it a little clean up, a little wash, and we'll have some fun now. We'll kind of screw everything into it, which would be the purpose of it anyway. So here we have. Here I'm going to put it. Obviously it's a bit sparse on the right hand side, but that's going to be used for something else in the future. Just give it a mark out. There we go. Up we go there. And that's a nice easy way to open anything up. Give it a tap. We just put our M3 screws through. I'll pop some nuts on the other side. And that's not going anywhere. Even if I didn't put the nuts on it, it was tight anyway as I screwed it in. And there we go.
Okay, so we've got this nice loud box I just hit. Not a drum. we've done the work that's on the inside here that I've wired up, but what I did was I got on and put some longer wires in, which means that I can lift this up and carry it out of the way. I've just trapped a wire under there, so that's not possible. Yep, so we can lift it out of the way and I can work on it if need be. My plan would be to I don't know, flip it forwards, flip it to the side, I don't know. So eventually, with me making lots of noise, this will have bits for point motors and things like that. Maybe sections for the railway to be running, who knows. It's DC, you know, who knows, in the future I might go to that dreaded DCC. For me, it's a lot more involved with it. People say it's kind of like just 2 wires, but then you look at the layouts and there's all these special boxes and things on there that I don't understand. So at the moment, I like to keep it fun, so a DC. So with this, I just need to put like my control knobs on, and they're a tight fit, so we'll get them on. There we go. Maybe it goes further. Not really, it's a bit long. I could always 3D print something to go over it and actually take up the whole length. There we go, so that's on there. So that'd be full power. Let's bring it down, and we're going to test this in a bit. But first, I wanted to talk about with obviously everything that we've been doing, what's inside and what's left to do basically. So this is the point motor control, which will be doing the discharge of power to the point motors when I do it. So not going to do anything with this for now. But inside I've got my 2 transformers. These haven't been powered yet, so I'm not going to get any spark off them, but they're powered obviously by the mains. So we've got our plug here, and then they go to the basically the comp speed boards that my father's made for me, which is really nice of him. So it basically means that when I'm at the furthest point away on the track, the engine won't really slow down. So that's kind of cool. I'm pretty happy with that. But we need to find out if these work, and he said they worked when he sent them to me. And as you can see, they're on a 3D printed little base here to then put them on. I'll hopefully have some B-roll running whilst I'm talking about this, and you can see more of that. And obviously there's the piece of metal here, which is on the front here to then obviously mount the lights, the switch, as well as the pots to control how much power is going to the track. Then I've got my 4 screws just to hold it in place, which obviously to do I had to cut out this piece of wood. I'll put a link in the description below of where I got this box from. I got it during lockdown and didn't do anything with it because Dad had also sent me all the bits for the inside, which was really kind of him. I'm yet to find out if this all works. I've wired it up to what he's said, so I'm going to check that. But what I want to do now is on the back, I've got this wire coming out for now. It's going to stay there, but I'm going to get one of those kettle leads that you can have so that I can just plug in that cable. But on the back here, we have our wires that go to the 2 lines. And I want to do something with that. So what I did was I looked at 3D printing kind of a bracket that could go on that would then hold a terminal block. And so I'm going to put that on in a minute. And that basically goes on here, dropped it. Let's hold on to it. And that goes on here. I've dropped the screws on the table, but that goes in there. And then what we have is a cover that goes over the top. And this is actually a tight fit, tighter than I wanted to have it, but making horrible noises. So that pops together, that goes there, and it says on it DC track power, if you can read that, if it's in focus. It's very white around here. So, but anyway, that's going to be there. That basically goes into the hole that's there, and then we'll have the wires terminating onto the terminal blocks, and that'll be that. And if I need to work on it, I get it apart. The wires are going to be tucked in here, popping out the top, and then in this gap you'll see the wires coming out. Nice and simple. I'm sure there's nicer solutions out there and something you can buy, but with a 3D printer you can have a lot of fun, make things how you want them to be made, and just go from there. And if it's terrible, you change your design until it works. So with that done, I'll be quiet, I'll put it together, you can have a little watch, and then we'll test on a loco that doesn't mean a lot to me to see if everything works. But I guess first of all, plug it in. If it doesn't explode, that's good progress, and then we go from there. So that's all together. You've seen the track power distribution block, which means that whenever I want to, I lift this off, and then I can put my second line in, and then I can work on what I'm doing with these two. And I can have another one like this for like my point motors, which will be a bit more complicated, I guess. But at least it keeps everything on the back nice and safe. The wire on the top is kind of the only bit that's being pulled on, so that harness is from the 2 screws. So it should be good. So I'm gonna plug it in and just see what happens. I'm sure I can't do anything wrong, but once we've done that, I'll then have some fun and we'll put an engine on. So let's just see what happens. I can hear hum of the transformers. Okay, we'll just see if the lights come on. That green lights come on, turn that down. And what about this one? Okay, that's okay. If you just open it up and see if any smoke's coming out. I'll neaten this wiring up, I promise. I just need to get some cable ties on it. I'll do that before I go up into the loft. But I think the first step is get a loco, get some track, and yeah, see how it goes. I guess I should really put a multimeter on the track, but where would be the fun in that, right? So I've got this 040. I had an intention plan to do something printable with it, but never got around to it. So what we'll do is we'll have some fun. We'll put this on the track. Nothing's happened, and we'll see if it moves. I don't know which one controls what at the moment. You've got to turn it on. So this one goes even at hardly any power. Okay. You need to speak to Dad about that one. Right, let's see how the other one works. Yep. Absolutely fine. So it's just adjusting that pot and it works a treat. That is absolutely wonderful. So what I want to talk about is what we're going to do next. We're going to go up into the loft and I'll pop this in. We can play with the 009 gauge, which I'm really looking forward to doing some time with that. Let's kind of get the wires connected up, have some fun. But before that, I want to talk to you about an engine and some bits that I brought today. So what I'll do is I'll move this out of the way and I'll show you this all a bit closer to me. And yeah, we'll go from there. For the sake of space, I've removed the big box and I've got this smaller one out, my BT's one that you see on the other videos for when I run a new loco, which is a small giveaway with what I want to talk to you about. But before I talk about locos, just want to say about a model shop I've been to, which is Wellingborough Model Railway Shop, or I'll put his website up in a minute. But it was nice. It's a smallish shop, but it's got a lot inside here, a number of second-hand items and new, and it's a nice shop to go to. So I recommend going there if you're in the area. I'm kind of Kettering based, so I'm not too far away from there, so it's great for me to support my local model shop. I have been buying some things online, but I do feel it's important to go to your local model shop to obviously do that. I'm going to show you what I got from there. And these two lovely items, these two private livery wagons. So on the end it says 3-plank wagon Trimsaran, I don't know, who knows. And the other one's a 3-plank wagon, which is a William Neven's son. So I really like the private wagons. When I see them going around the layout, the different bright colours look good, and the white writing always really stands out and looks just great, really great for advertisement. So we'll just get these out. This is by Replica Railways, and I understand, and I might be completely wrong, but they are now owned by Bachmann. You know, they must have all the moulds. I don't know if they're still using it all, but we'll get this out and have a look at this lovely 3-plank. Nice and tight in the box. So So we'll get that out and we'll take a look. I'll have some B-roll running whilst I'm looking at these, but it looks very, very nice. I always feel that I could spend a little bit of time, and on the very bottom part, it's currently got just like the plastic finish on the chassis, and to just kind of go over it with like a weathered black kind of colour would just finish it off nicely. It's got plastic wheels on it, so I can always upgrade these later on. So there's Bachmann underneath it, Hong Kong. So I'm guessing they must have owned Replica Railways and selling under that brand or something. So yeah, Bachmann. So let's see if that rolls nicely. Not massively nicely. It kind of stops. So I can always oil up a wheel. The front ones spin, the rear ones don't. So I'll just see what's going on there, and maybe we can free that up some way. That's better. There we go. That works nicely. So the other one is the Trimseran. I'll go for Trimseran. It sounds alright, I guess. Bit of the paper that comes with it. And we'll just get this out from inside. Some like boxes are easy to get apart, and some are just feel impossible. But I guess they tried many times over the years to do these kind of things, to get the packaging nice, keep it protected, as well as demonstrate what it looks like. But sometimes you got to swing on it, so hopefully the wagon is still in one piece when I open it up. There we go. Actually, I can put a lot of effort into that. I don't think I'll be putting it back in the box. It's going to go straight on the layout. And this is very, very nice. Again, it's by Bachmann, it says under there, but the painting underneath on the main chassis bit there looks very nice. It's got the plastic, obviously moulded buffers on it. You've got some flash that we could clean up ourselves if we want to. Spend a bit of time if I want, or not. You've got the hook part of it painted red, which I don't imagine that would be red, but obviously this is a review of something that probably came out 20 years ago or more, I don't know. But yeah, it looks just as good as half the things that I've got today. It's got the larger, what's it called? The couplings on the end. But we'll just see how it rolls. And that's nice. And that's connected up. So, what do I want to show you now? It's something that I think I saw on Sam's Trains. I think I need to double check. And he was kind of raving about how much he liked the look of it. And I thought, well, okay, I don't know. This is on a video, you never quite know. So when I was in the Wellingborough Model Railway shop, I decided to get one because there was one in the shop. So let's take a look. It was reduced from 109, it says, down to £84. So I feel like I got a bargain here. And the bit that caught my eye was the small tender in the picture. And the tender looked fantastic. I think this sleeve was quite tight as well when I saw him, because he had it on the display shelf. It was reasonably tight, but that's okay. He put the box back together for me. He said it's new, it's not second hand. And it looks very, very new and very, very nice. I've got one LNER engine, which is my A4 Pacific, which my friend Dave got me. Thank you, Dave. And that's lovely. But I think that's under the BR banner. This will be my first black and only LNER loco that I believe that I have in the, obviously, the livery of LNER. So that's that. We'll have lots of B-roll running, so I'm not ruining anything for you. But it's, I'd argue, a very, very cute looking engine. So I'll just get that out really carefully. I don't want to damage it. Move this great packaging out. Hopefully you'll have to put it back in the packaging for a very long time. So taking a little look at it, it looks very nice, 7510. It's got nice writing on the side, looking at it. It's got obviously the LNER in the yellow and the nice way that make it sort of shades out. And no, it looks really, really good. A little bit dusty because it's been on the display shelf. It's made by Hornby, obviously. The part number for it I'm probably going to already put this up in the thumbnail. But the part number is R3380 if you're interested in one of these. On the back it says it's a 1P2F. Okay, so now that confuses me because I've been told about the classification for like its power. So it's got 1P2F, so there must be something to do with that, the fact that they've got two classifications on it. Is that one for passengers, one for freight? I'm sure you can write a comment and let me know a bit more about that kind of thing. But it's a design by T.W. Worsdell. The GER class, Y14 LNER class J15 was his solution to the lack of suitable freight locos available on the Doncaster route. The first Y14s were built in early 1883 and became the Great Eastern Railway's most common locomotive type, with the total of 259 being built in 27 batches. So sounds like there was quite a few of these about back in the day. So I don't know if there's any of these running around on heritage lines. That'd be interesting to find out. But looking at it inside the cab, it's got some gorgeous details. It's actually really nice. The I guess the regulator, there's some big handles going on inside that, and it looks really, really smart. So that's very intricate what's going on inside there. On the tender, you've got a nice bit of detail, and I love this tender, the short wheelbase wheels that sit on there. So the two rear ones are quite close together, but the ones in front are slightly further away. So that's really interesting for me. So I'm looking forward to showing you some closer pictures of that. The painting looks nice. It's got sprung buffers. Metal details, are there any? I'm sure there might be. Looks like there's plastic mouldings for these bits, for like the whistle and the obviously the high pressure valves that obviously the release valves that pop up here. Everything else looks nice. Looking at the front, yeah, it just looks really, really good. I wouldn't normally go for this type of engine. I was fixated on Great Western when I first got back into this, and I still love it. And I've got some stuff to talk to you about at some point, not in this video. But I'm starting to see the beauty in the other engines, and okay, fine, there are more than one type of nice engine around. But anyway, what we'll do is, it looks like we've got some wires going to the back. I'm guessing there might be either some pickups in the back, which I can see. So on each wheel at the back, it looks like there's a pickup. So you've got all kind of 12 wheels on here with pickups. So this should run. So we'll just place this on the track and we'll turn it on and get it working. Got all these pickups, so it should work very, very smoothly. But we'll find out what it looks like. Okay, so when I used a very tiny bit of power, I can hear it moving. It moves very slowly by the look of it. Okay, that's nice. You can hear the gearbox inside as it's moving. Okay, I'm happy with that. We'll just go back one more time, make sure it's good. And to me, that is good. Right. What we do is we'll take it into the loft and I'll find something to put in the back of it to pull round, and we'll see how nice it looks, which I'm sure it will look really, really nice. But a very, very pretty little loco with the cutest little tender, which I'm looking forward to seeing some of the other ones of the class to see if they had the similar type thing going on. Anyway, let's go up into the loft. So we're up here. I've popped the controller down here. You can't see it, but I will rotate the camera down. You can see this lovely beastie there, and obviously you've got the controls there for us to play with. We're going to run our new loco, which is the J15. Really, really pleased to get this loco. I've already given it a run just to make sure that it's okay. It's very, very good. And obviously come up here and then, let's see how it is. So what we'll do is we'll go over to it, we'll put it on the track and we'll have some fun. I'll put some shots in, we might even put some music on. I've got some other locos that will be going around as well, and hopefully you'll really enjoy that, as I do. It's always good fun. And we can have a little look at those wagons as well as they get to go around on the back of the Peckett from the last episode. Okay, let's pop this down here. This beautiful engine deserves to have some beautiful coaches, and as I don't have any LNER coaches, it would be graced with some Great Western coaches. Just make sure that one pops there. I've actually made a tool. So this tool helps me uncouple things. See, from a distance, you can see it's a little pokey thing with a little chisel that goes underneath and it lifts. So that will go under here and it will disconnect these two and take it off. So basically, it's harder than it looks. But I come under here, try and get both, and then it comes undone. Because I didn't have that before, and I've seen other people with various things, but I thought I'm going to use that tool because it's grey. So I've made myself a nice fluorescent orange one, so I can't lose it, which would be great. So then I can bring that in here. I can use this to help me manipulate the couplings. So then it comes apart, and I can also make sure it goes together nicely. So with that, like that, let's crack on. Let's give this puppy a run. You can see my third line here with my extra sidings. There's a cup in the way there. Yeah, very beautiful, and one of my favourite engines, the Freight 2807, which is also a 280, and yeah, we'll give that a run round and see how well that looks going around. And here's my pannier pushing the GoPro. We'll be seeing some nice shots of that in a bit. Or you've probably already been seeing it. I'm going to edit this later, so who knows. So I've enjoyed running these round. We get to enjoy a bit of music with all the different locos running around doing their bit of magic. And for me, the J15 by Hornby is a very nice little loco. The price I got it for I thought was a brilliant price, so if you are in the area, check out... It's always having these little niggles. I must say, A big thank you to my sister for getting me this t-shirt. You might not have noticed it, but it says "Leave me alone, I'm building model railways." And yeah, that's kind of it really when you're up in the loft. It's you don't normally do it with other people, and it's obviously, I guess you've got kids, that'd be awesome if you can share that time with them. But I'll have to get my dad round and some of my friends up here with me sometime. But yeah, anyway, awesome t-shirt, thank you to her. Yeah, been enjoying watching these brilliant locos go around, doing laps, and I'm going to try and get into shunting a little bit more and get some sidings into this layout somehow. I kind of did my big loops, but over time I realised actually I could do with places to park them, and that's why I've got this little section to my my right, so your left, and it means I can keep things there and bring it onto the line and work its way over. So yeah, I have a little rethink of that. I think the whole right hand side of my railway that I'm looking at now, that I want to do a bit more with, have station one end, not in the middle. I can have an engine shed the other. I can have a goods yardy bit in the middle. I don't know. Let's have a little play. Looking at Topley Yard. I don't know what it's called. Topley Dale. The Hornby magazine layout. That's kind of cool because they have the station on the corner, and I like that. That means that then the straight sections you can do a bit more with. So that's something that I want to do myself. Anyway. Big thank you to everyone that's subscribing. As you do, it's always really motivating for me to have that kind of number increasing. It's obviously, you shouldn't be there to chase numbers and stuff like that, but it does motivate you and does give you a bit more encouragement. I've had another Patreon since my last video, which was really great. So I'm up to 10 now, so thank you so much guys for supporting me. It's kind of all the money that I get from that I put into my locos and bits of the railway, so the J15, from the money I get from advertisement on the videos and my my patrons. I put all that money back into all of this and try and share my journey with you in a way that hopefully motivates you to do a bit more. My biggest takeaway from kind of, apart from like getting the engine and the wagons, I enjoyed putting my third line out. The third line was really good fun, because I got to do the set track again, and I remember on my first episode I did all that, I put it all together and it was enjoyable, just picking out those you know, the rails, getting them to obviously connect up together with the fish plates that are there. That's very satisfying. But I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I hope you've enjoyed the 3D printing part of everything, the CNC machining. We've had some running, we've had track laying down, we've had the GoPro go around. You can watch me as I'm tinkering away up here. Anyway, I'll see you on the next episode, but you look after yourselves and just really take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.